Hello. Okay, so I'm doing a video today about the Muddy Roots Festival. It takes place in Cookeville, Tennessee on August 31st through 2nd. I think it's September 2nd. So I wanted to go ahead and do a little video about it because I learned something over the last 4 years going to, or 3 years going to the Muddy Roots Festival when it was just at its like early baby stages, and how it's grown to what it is now. And I learned some things about outdoor festivals in that type of environment. So I thought I would go ahead and run a few things by you, and you know, if this isn't helpful to you because you're not going to Muddy Roots, then hopefully it'll be helpful to you if you're going to any outdoor festivals or events in the latter part of the summer, especially in the southern United States. I think Muddy Roots is awesome because it celebrates roots music, it celebrates, you know, Americana, it celebrates the southern heritage of music, and so, and you know, rock, it covers everything from rock and roll to country. And I kind of feel like that's a very important thing to expose people to, especially since there's so many festivals that. So that's what to expect when it comes to music. Now there are several stages set up like at all outdoor festivals, or like most outdoor festivals. And one of the great things about the environment is that it takes place in kind of a valley, isolated setting in the middle of this kind of like bowl in Cookeville, and surrounded by hills, and it's a fabulous setting to listen to music because the acoustics are so great. And you can camp. There's pretty much, you can just set up and camp. It's really great. I think it's a little more organized by necessity this year because there's going to be more people there, but you know, you can camp and all of that. So one of the main things that I wanted to talk about was so one of my viewers called it glamping, glamour camping. It's not necessary, of course, to do any of this. It's just that I personally like to feel a little bit more put together when I'm attending an event like this. I feel a little bit more myself, and I don't feel so out of my element. And so I thought I'd give you some tips as to what I feel like is important to know about dressing, camping, you know, keeping yourself put together, but without too much effort in an environment like this. First of all, Tennessee in late summer is extraordinarily humid. It's like this all summer round, but when the heat goes down just a little, the humidity goes sky high. And when you're in a valley in the southern Tennessee foothills, it is insanely humid. So something to remember is that if you are going to go and hang out all day long, 3 days in a row, in humid Tennessee August weather, you may feel inclined because it's you know, it's going to be a dirty setting. Muddy Roots is not just Muddy Roots by title, it is also, it gets really muddy, especially if it rains like it did last year. It was insane. But something you have to remember about Tennessee in the late summer, and if you've camped in Tennessee in the late summer, you know this. You are burning up in the daytime and you can't breathe because the air is stifling and the sun is beating down and it's hot. And then all of a sudden the humidity starts to go higher and higher and higher as the day progresses, and as the sun sets, it gets cold. And it's not cold temperature-wise. You can check your thermostat, or it's not cold. But it feels cold because it kind of feels like you're sitting the way you would feel if it was a warm summer day and you were sitting in wet denim, wet blue jeans. It's uncomfortable, it's clammy, it's cold. So I've learned over the last 3 years what to wear, what not to wear. And I wanted to kind of give you my tips on that because the humidity definitely plays a factor in whether or not you enjoy yourself, and also whether or not you want to camp. Because I actually saw some people give up and just decide they didn't want to camp because it was damp and chilly and they didn't want to camp. But let me just tell you a few things about camping and kind of keeping your own momentum going when it comes to how you feel about yourself. Clothing-wise, I would definitely recommend not wearing denim, not wearing anything thick and heavy. As durable as denim is, and as great as it is for outdoor festivities, and as comfortable as blue jeans can be, when you are in a very warm, damp, humid climate, it feels horrible on the skin. I wore blue jeans the first year and the third year, and I hated myself for it. I can't imagine why I did it. And then the second year, I was wearing a little skirt, a little cotton skirt, and I was so much more comfortable. So what I would definitely recommend above all is cotton, natural fibers, and I don't mean cotton in the sense of blue jeans, because of course those are cotton too, but I mean like light breathable cottons, light breathable natural fabrics. Very, very important. I think it makes you just feel more comfortable, dries off quicker, doesn't settle into your skin and feel uncomfortable. So I recommend little cotton dresses like crazy. The tricky thing about your cotton dresses when you're going to an outdoor festival where you're gonna get dirty is I love my little vintage dresses, but I don't want to get them dirty because my vintage dresses are so rare and I don't want to ruin them. So I don't wear vintage when I'm at the Muddy Roots Festival or anything like that. And then there's also the situation of reproduction dresses, which I absolutely love, but are expensive. So I don't want to get my really nice or vintage things dirty. So what I would typically do is go for something that you have that's older, or something maybe you got at a thrift store, or something you got relatively inexpensively that you don't care as much about, you know, whether it comes completely clean if it gets dirty. So definitely I recommend soft cottons, cotton shorts, cotton skirts, cotton dresses. Awesome idea. First couple of years I was there, I noticed that a lot of girls were wearing those, and I realize now why. It was just a really good idea. Footwear. I have had horrible experiences with footwear. Last year, no joke, fell flat on my face holding my baby girl. She was about 5 months old. Fell on my knees, holding on to my 3-year-old son's hands and my baby girl in my arms. Fortunately, I was able to turn, so she landed on top of me. I was so embarrassed, but more than anything, I was mad at myself because I was wearing wedge shoes. You don't wear wedges on uneven ground. That's what I was doing, so it was a horrible idea. There's a little bit of gravel, but mostly it's just dirt, and I had on high like platform wedges, and I thought, oh, those will lend me plenty of stability, and that's totally not the truth. If you have to wear heels, wear actual heels so they'll dig into the dirt a little bit, but don't wear heels. I would recommend wearing like a flat ballet flat, something that's breathable, something that's comfortable, something that you can run around in, something with some grip to it. And the thing that I saw a lot of girls wearing were cowboy boots. I actually used to have a pair of cowboy boots, but I just never wore them, so I got rid of them, and I haven't really had the need for them or desire for them until I went to Muddy Roots last year, and I thought that is a really great choice of footwear because of the mud and because of the climate and because of the fact that you could just kick them off if you want to go barefoot. So easy to remove, and yet you can run around in them, and you know, I think they look cute. So I thought about getting cowboy boots, but then I realized that cowboy boots have no grip. And I fell last year, so I thought I definitely want something with grip. And then lo and behold, I found these. They are cowboy rain boots. They are awesome. They're cowboy boot shaped like a classic cowboy boot, but they're rubber. And they're rain boots. And they have this wonderful soft like lining. And they have this cute little pattern on them. So I'm all over these. And they have grip on the bottom. It's a great choice for footwear for Muddy Roots. Don't recommend thongs, sandals, you know, they're just going to come off, especially if it gets muddy. Just think about mud, think about grip. Those are the two things you got to think about. And I definitely think rain boots are a great idea. When it comes to, let's see, clothing, we talked about clothing, we talked about shoes. We can talk about makeup. When you're camping, and we're camping in our car, we have an air mattress we're putting in our car, but if you camp, even if you're camping in a tent, you want to be able to look presentable during the day without melting, and also without having to go to too much trouble. You want to be able to completely style yourself in a tiny little mirror if necessary. I would just bring this, you know, this is what I'm bringing. But also if you're staying in your car, of course, if you've got your car, then you can just look in your little car mirrors or whatever. But you want to be able to find something simple enough to do without having to go to too much trouble. You don't want to have to, of course, use heating products. You know, you don't have electricity probably unless you're staying in a place where you've got electricity. So definitely consider a wet set hairstyle. Consider minimal makeup, and consider sun protection, of course. But also consider hairstyles that are easily taken from one day to the next, where you don't, of course, you're probably not going to wash your hair. There are showers there, you can, but if you choose not to wash your hair, then have a hairstyle available in your little arsenal to kind of deal with the fact that you don't want to wash your hair, but you want to look presentable. This would be a great option for a second day hairstyle, and you'll see me do this in my video. You dress it up with flowers, Super easy. And then I also will have a rosy bandana tutorial in this video, just a really quick one that's kind of a rehash of my very first rosy bandana video. It's my favorite way to wear a bandana, and so I want you to, to kind of give that a look too and see if that's something you'd be interested in doing. These little pillow rollers, and get by with it. It's so easy to roll these without a mirror. You can just use these to just roll your hair up without a mirror. The makeup I did, you can do with the tiniest little mirror. I'm not messing with eyelashes or anything like that. I'm using mostly waterproof products and of course plenty of sun protection. So I hope that this video is not too much for you to handle, but please let me know if there's any other questions that you have about dates, about bands, about, styling choices, anything you want to know about it, let me know. It's a really, really great time. And it's a really wonderful thing to have in Tennessee, so I want to thank the boys that got the Muddy Roots Festival together, and just keep it in mind. If you can't make all 3 days, I would definitely recommend Friday. No, I can't do that. If you can't make all 3 days, try to make at least one day. You'll definitely have a great time. So we'll talk to y'all later, and thank you so much for tuning in.